Hello, my friends. Welcome in. It's episode 33. So, this is a genuine confusion I have. I'm going to pull this up real quick. But you'll notice Vincente Gontillo. Is that anywhere near correct? The man's name that's the president of Bahia. Anyone? Anyone? Anyway, I kind of feel like we have a little bit of a Barcelona type situation. Not to that extreme, obviously. But he is running for re-election. Cool. And he's told that if he was re-elected, he intends to sign Gaston Gonzalez and Alejandro in a bid to improve the on-pitch product and attract greater interest in the club. He's been president for 3 years and is going for another 3-year term. Doesn't that sound a bit like Barcelona? Like, we're going to keep signing great players. Like, do I have a say in this? I have not experienced this, at least that I can remember at this point in my life, having a president. Now, director of football, that would be different, but having the chairman or the president say, and really, chairman's not the same, because that's like if the club gets bought and whatever. It's like, if I'm reelected, I'm going to sign these players. I guess it's similar to when the chairman, you know, they say that they would buy the club and invest a lot and fire me and hire a new manager and also sign some players. Maybe it's the same concept. But I'm like, do I have the option, since this is an election, if he wins and they put in bids for these players, to say no? Or is it just like, tough, they're on your squad now? Let me know in the comments. I literally don't know how this works. Like, I'm assuming it's like a regular transfer. It's like transfer offer put in, and then, or is it just like transfer offer put in, and if they accept it, it's automatically signed? Do I get the, like, you know, accept, delay, cancel option, I guess, down like in that corner? Do I have an option here, or do I just have to accept it? Let's look at the two players. I'm not through the transfer window because this popped up. Like, where it's December 16th in game. So we're kind of stuck right now, and I need your thoughts and comments because I want to get ahead to the point where I'm assuming he's gonna win, and then I'm gonna have to like make a decision here. But like, it's an Argentinian player. No. I'm in the midst of freeing up our first foreign player slot because we're gonna sell our left back, and you're gonna take it and put Gaston Gonzalez in that spot. Which, I mean, he looks to be a fine player, but we have a good striker. I don't need this player. It's also like they bumped up the transfer budget. Here's 7.4 million, except we're going to go spend 2 million on this guy. And we haven't even scouted this guy. We don't know his full attributes. He's an inverted right-footed winger / striker, and he's worth 1.7. So we're going to go spend, what, 4 million of our 7.4 million? So they're like, hey, thanks for getting in the Copa Sudamerica. We bumped up the transfer budget. Oops, we spent the transfer budget. What? Like, can I say no? Is it an option for me to say no? Let me know in the comments. Please help me. And I guess we'll go do the end of season review, so this isn't like a 3-minute video. But I'm genuinely like, can I say no? Please? I don't want these players. So before we get any further, my friends, I want to remind you that Football Manager 22 is coming out. I have an affiliate code, discount affiliate code, in the description that you could check out. It helps the channel out, helps me out personally. Let's stop talking about the channel. The channel is me, so it helps me out. They still haven't announced any features, but pretty much every other video, I'm probably going to be like, hey, just as a reminder, you can get 10% off, which is going to be universal at every store. Like, even on Steam, it'll be 10% off. But you can get an extra 10% off the discounted price by going to my affiliate link. It's with 2Game, which is a legitimate reseller or seller. I guess not reseller. It's not used, like, you know, Sony PlayStation discs or something like that. I'm very good at this. An authorized seller of, you know, the keys for Football Manager and all kinds of other games. I've used them before. So they're a safe place to be getting your game from. You get an extra 10% off, and if you use my code, you have to put the code in the discount code section, like a coupon code. It's all caps, gray hair, one word, with an A for the gray hair, kind of like the channel. I'm sure you're picking up on this, but the link for that is in the description, and while we're here, you might as well subscribe. The other thing I was going to mention, I found it in the Discord, actually. User name Drambrosini. Hopefully that's right, and you can let me know. Says he's been a sub on YouTube for a while, even though he hasn't followed the latest series as much until, he says in all caps, I'm assuming it's a he, sorry. GHG became manager of the club that I actually support in real life, Bahia. So that's instantly hooked me back into the channel. That's awesome. This is what I love. Seriously, I'm not stalling for time on the end of season review. I'm not. I love this aspect of Football Manager. The fact that we have a community, and the Discord, if you want to join it, is in the description. It's free. It's just a place we all hang out and watch me complain about Liverpool. And Pekka Wickman complain about Divock Origi. He got an assist, right? In the Champions League. But it's like, where else? I mean, I'm sure there's other places and other games and aspects of the internet. This is the good part for me about internet and gaming culture, is that there is a chat full of people all over the world. We've got people in Brazil and Germany and Sweden and Canada and obviously the United States, obviously the UK. You might expect that with Football Manager. Just all over the place that come and hang out, and I just love that. So it's a really friendly community. Like, we're really like pretty strict on like not letting people be jerks in there. So come hang out if you like. And Drambrosini, hopefully I said your username correctly, and hopefully we can do something good with Bahia next season before we leave and go find somebody else. I also want to point out in the season review here, we were one of the competition's feel-good stories, defying expectations. Okay, that makes sense. We were getting relegated at one point. And thanks to an impressive spell of form in May that saw them move into 4th place, they were able to celebrate a job well done. What? We were 2-1-3 in May. And we didn't finish in 4th, we finished in 8th. Who cares that at that moment in time, with a whatever I just said, whatever it was, 2-1-3 record, that we were 4th. That is so random to me. Like what about, hey, they were about to get relegated, and then they didn't. You know, maybe I'll just like to see that. We'll also check out my attributes here at the end. Let's do the season review. Again, we're going to skip some of this because not all of these are going to be our signings and so on and so forth. But I want to point out, hello, Ribeiro, the guy we signed who only made 19 appearances like the second half of the season, 850 grand, 715. That's not why they're giving him an A. It's not like, boy, you picked a really good keeper. Good job. It's, we're pleased to see that the minimum fee release clause of $21.5 million would mean an excellent deal for the club. Is that just Brazilian Serie A, you know, ownership or presidential views? It's like, I don't care that you rescued the club. Great signing because we could get paid if he gets bought. Like, I get it, but it's like, he's also 33. Like, is someone really going to spend $21.5 million on a 33-year-old? I just want to point that out. Anyway, Marcos gets a B+, mainly due to getting the point to agree to a lower wage than we would expect to pay for someone of his ability. Fair. You're going to ignore that it's eventually going to be like 1.3 million. Cool. I didn't sign Euler, and he gets an A+ for his wage. I didn't sign Carvajal. So, like, a lot of these aren't really ours. Okay, let's talk about transfers out. That wasn't really us either, to be completely honest with you. Let's go loans out, where we had Nazario, we sent on loan, gets a B-. Aguero gets a B-. He's like, I got like 7 or 8 appearances total for them. So like we're halfway to him being purchased. So yippee. Patrick DeLuca gets a C. I think it's probably because they're not really paying for him. And then a C+ for Guido Manero. So we're just trying to get rid of the more than 40 players that we had. End up with 61% home attendance, which is kind of disappointing, but we didn't have much to do with that. I'm assuming attendance dropped at some point because we were really, really bad. The board's expectation was to win the Bahia State Championship. Oh, of course. Why would we default to the Brazilian First Division when we could show you, first off, user of Football Manager, the state championship, which we won? Look at that. I mean, okay, a lot of these teams I'm assuming are not going to be like major players, as some would say. That's actually reminds me of a comment from Ricardo Lete. Ricardo said, JHD, I have bad and good news for you. I'm looking at my other monitor in case you're like, what are you doing? My other monitor is now over here. GHG, I have bad and good news for you. The bad is that next year the board will want you to win or get in the finals of both the Bahia State Championship and Copa Nordeste, even though you'll be playing the Brazilian Cup and the Sudamericana. The good news is that almost all clubs in these first two competitions are so bad that you can play with your kids and be okay. Just pay attention on the game against rivals, especially Vitória. Welcome to Brazil. It's crazy. You gotta love it. Thank you for the insightful comment, and I look forward to being overwhelmed because, like, oh dear, there's so many games. The board expects us to avoid relegation. We finished 8th, A+. We don't really need to cover that. We got knocked out of the Brazilian Cup way before we got here in the second round by VDG, Vasco da Gama. Goodness me, get it out, GHG. That kind of rhymed. It's late. I'm recording this late the day before it comes out, so thanks for watching. Hit the like button. And then obviously won the Brazilian Northeast Regional Championship. So like we did what we were supposed to, and we did what Ricardo Lete is saying they're going to ask us to do again. We'll just have to see where they want us to be. I'm kind of curious. Like 8th place is a pretty darn good finish. Like we're pretty clear of relegation. So are they going to be like top half or mid-table? Like that makes me a little bit nervous. Biggest win. This is never good when your biggest win is in the state championship. And your match to remember. Nothing to do with the league. Ricardo or, wait for it, Drembrosini, or maybe you, who happen to be more informed than I. Is that how it's viewed at a club like Bahia? It's like, okay, we're not going to expect you to win the league. Therefore, the biggest win, the biggest matches to remember are in those state championships? Like, is that where, like, is it like I'm trying to equate this to like the English Premier League? It's like, well, we can't win that, but if we could win the FA Cup, which would be the Brazilian Cup, or if we could win like the EFL Trophy or the Carabao Cup or whatever it's called these days. I can't remember if it's changed sponsors or not. Something like that, where it's like winning that would still be for a club of bias standard. Like, hey, we're not going to win the league, but like we still got some silverware. Is that kind of where that lands? Let me know. I'm genuinely curious. Sponsorship up, broadcast revenue up, corporate and hospitality also up, competition prize money way up, matchday commercial a little bit up. Lucas Rodriguez gets the top kit, but Ryan is making a move. Daniel, I don't know if we're gonna keep him. Lirio and Carl. So this is like, they don't care about defenders, my friends. They don't care about our goalkeeper that saved our bacon. It's all of the midfield and attacking midfield and strikers. Get in, buy all the kits. I love also, right? Like, I'm guessing this screen is designed to be like whatever the majority of the formation was. And so because we played 600 million games before our second half of the league, it's like all the other games were a 5-3-2 DM wingback. That's where they've tried to fit, our top best 11 into, which is just like all over the place, not correct. Like, who is Wanderson? Did we even have a Wanderson? He has no... What is that? Okay, you can't see this, I just realized. He played for the club in 2022. Is he on? Is it because this is not the best 11 ever, right? This is the best 11 based on the squad. Who is Brenner? Is it the best 11 ever? I don't think so. Or maybe it's something to do with one of the state championships is bleeding into this. That doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't be our squad. Things are broken. The accolades. Did we have any accolades? We did. Ryan gets your player of the season and your young player of the season. Romero, we already saw signing of the season. Goal of the season goes to Daniel. Top goal scorer, 36 goals across all competitions. Again, we played like 600 games. And most assists go to Daniel. Most player of the match, 11 for Ryan. Highest average rating. I'm shocked that he won the player of the season with the most goals, the highest average rating, and the most player of the match awards. That's great. And then this, I saw this and I was like, oh, hello. Hello. I don't know what happened on this screen. History in the making. Your hard work and effort paid off on the pitch, and such a feat didn't go unrewarded at our end of season award ceremony. Here's a random game in the Northeast Regional Championship, and I guess the media said that spell of football at the start of the season was the making of Bahia. Yeah, that spell where we 0-0 drew. I said drawed. I told you it was late. Oh dear. And so I go like, when was that game? It was the semifinal, and maybe that's why, like, because it got us to the final, right? And it was a penalty shootout. But it's like, that's a really random thing to be like, that was their early season success. It's like, it wasn't even a final, mate. And then did you see what happened right after that? I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little picky, but I just go like, what is happening? Brenner, I want to point this out. I did look at this. $825K in appearance money, and I like to bang the drum on this. Always, and I didn't do this because I was rushing when we first got into Bahia, always check your transfer clauses. So here's a guy, Brenner, who is apparently in our best 11, even though we sold him last season. Weird. It's the weirdest thing. That's how bad the squad was. And we're due $825,000 after another 35 league appearances, or we can get essentially 3/4 of that for $636 right now. Was that worth it? Well, let's take a look. We sold him in 2022, so kind of like half season would be my guess, like summer window for Bahia, but I don't know. That would make sense with the Mexican league, right? I think. And so they paid $3.6 million. And he gave him 5 substitute league appearances with an assist. Well, this full season, or is it half season? It doesn't really matter. 10 substitute appearances on a 6.59. He's not exactly lit up the Mexican First Division. He's a regular starter. Regular starter. Theoretically, my friends. And so I go, I don't think it's likely he gets to 35 appearances anytime soon where it would be useful to us, right? Like, yeah, I'm thinking not. That's a lot of games, and he played in 10 substitute appearances, but not as a regular starter. So I think we're probably going to sell that to add it to our transfer budget, especially if we're going to be buying players that I don't want. So, my friends, that's where I'm going to leave you today. Let me know. I just have a sneaking suspicion we're going to get, the president is going to win the election, because why wouldn't he, right? Like, if you look at his tenure, he's been there since December 2020, okay? Now, to be fair, well, maybe not. Maybe not. They got relegated and bounced back, but then he made the brilliant decision to sign me because I applied. I'm trying to help this guy out, but it's not really working. And then we finished 8th. So, like, surely they're going to be like, yeah, let's give him another 3 years. But, like, with that, am I forced to buy the players he wants, or can I decline it if there's a decline option? Help me with this, my friends, and we'll see you next time. I am going to have a Fantasy Premier League episode video coming out about wildcarding and game week 5 and stuff like that. Just kind of update on our league, which you can also still join if you haven't joined it yet. If like you've already, I wouldn't join now if you haven't started playing FPL. You might say, oh, it's been 4 weeks, I'm not going to catch up. But it's still pretty close. If you're playing in other leagues, you can just add our league to your thing, right? So if you want to do that, let me know, or you can find it in the Discord. I've said Discord more times than I normally do in an episode. So thanks for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.